not just Trump this week, but 18 co-defendants have to present themselves for this fingerprinting and booking in and mugshots and all the rest of it, and will presumably appear alongside each other in the dock, in a very crowded dock in court, when we have the first arraignment hearing, which is going to be in a couple of weeks. So that will look very different to what we've seen in any of the other cases.
Donald Trump says he'll travel to Georgia to surrender to the Fulton County authorities. He faces charges of illegally scheming to overturn his 2020 election loss. He denies the charges. He will be fingerprinted, and he'll likely have his mugshot taken as well. David Charter is the Times US editor. Hi, David.
Good afternoon from Washington, D.C.
Great to be speaking with you. Gosh, it is going to be a dramatic week. We've got Republican candidates, I should say, for president debating each other without Donald Trump on stage, presumably because he'll be on his way to Georgia.
Yeah, that's right. Well, actually, at the moment of the debate, Trump has already pre-recorded an interview with a former Fox presenter, very well known, called Tucker Carlson, which we think is going to go out in competition with the debate that he is skipping. So not only has he scheduled his the first part of his arraignment in Georgia for the following day, which will obviously suck up loads of media coverage away from analysis of the debate, but he's going up against, if you like, his own party and his own rivals with an interview of his own that will presumably appear on the former Twitter, which is where interviews by Tucker Carlson generally appear. And so there'll be a kind of a competition for ratings, if you like, between Fox News, which is running the debate, and Trump and Tucker Carlson.
Gosh. Tell us then about the charges in Georgia and how they are in some ways different to the other indictments. Of course, there are 4 in total, but the other indictments that Donald Trump is facing.
Okay, well, these are state charges, like the ones in Manhattan, but unlike the federal charges for retaining classified documents and trying to overturn the election on January the 6th. What it means by state charges is that even if Trump becomes president and he tries this theory of pardoning himself, he can only pardon himself for federal charges, not state charges. But this is a much bigger case that draws in 18 alleged accomplices and associates in the racketeering plot that's alleged. So not just Trump this week, but 18 co-defendants have to present themselves for this fingerprinting and booking in and mugshots and all the rest of it, and will presumably appear alongside each other in the dock, in a very crowded dock in court, when we have the first arraignment hearing, which is going to be in a couple of weeks. So that will look very different to what we've seen in any of the other cases.
David, what is the timeline here? It's sometimes difficult to keep track, given the number of indictments, the number of charges. Will some of them move more quickly than others? Just try to outline as best you can what we can anticipate in the weeks and months ahead.
It's difficult to say for certain, Callum, because there's a battle over the timeline. So we have various court dates that have been requested, various court dates that have been set. So the first one in Manhattan, the hush money payments, that's been given a trial date for March, for mid-March. And the first federal case for classified documents, that's got a trial date for May. But in the second federal case for the overturning the election on January the 6th riots, there's a battle for where the prosecution want to go ahead in January, and Trump's lawyers are saying, this is ridiculous. We've got mountains of material to read and process. We want to have the trial in 2026. So the judge is going to have to thrash that one out with them. And we haven't got to this stage yet in Georgia. We're in the very early stages of this one. So, but it's already becoming incredibly intertwined with the primary contest to become the next Republican candidate, as this week shows. In fact, Trump had the whole week to turn up in Georgia, and the fact that he's chosen to go on the day after the debate only shows that he's actually using his criminal prosecutions actually as his own weapon, if you like, to get publicity and try and overshadow all of his rivals.
David, we will keep in touch over the next couple of days as that debate happens, indeed as Donald Trump surrenders to Fulton County authorities in Georgia. Thanks very much for speaking to us.
Thanks, Callum.
Thank you. That's David Charter, who is the Times US editor. And yes, if you're struggling to keep on top of it all, there's a lot, isn't there? And it moves quickly. That's the other thing, to try and keep across all the detail. Then, of course, take out a digital subscription to The Times and indeed The Sunday Times. There's an article on there right now, thetimes.co.uk, by David Charter. The former president says he is already far ahead in polling and well known to voters. And so he's not really bothered about missing the debate on Wednesday night, US time, but will instead go to Atlanta, Georgia on Thursday. Here he is. Can you believe it, says Donald Trump. I'll be going to Atlanta, Georgia on Thursday to be arrested in capital letters by a radical left district attorney who's overseeing one of the greatest murder and violent crime disasters in American history, is what he's posted. In my case, the trip to Atlanta is not for murder, but for making a perfect phone call, in capital letters. She campaigned and is continuing to campaign and raise money on this witch hunt, in capital letters. This is in strict coordination with crooked Joe Biden's DOJ, Department of Justice. It is all about election interference, in capital letters.